All right, looks like we're all here. What a logistical feat from our marketing team. We're going to go ahead and kick off. Hello, everyone. Huge welcome to our very first Tezos Town Hall. I'm super excited to be here, to have all of these amazing guests with me. Many of you probably don't know who I am, so how about we start with a little introduction. I'm Katie. I'm Chief of Staff here at Trilitech. I have the privilege of working with a variety of teams and across a variety of initiatives in all functional areas, from core, app engineering, adoption, and marketing. I've been in the community for about 2 years. Actually, I'm going to celebrate my second anniversary tomorrow, which is very exciting. And I've had the privilege to work with many teams outside of the entities across this ecosystem, teams that are really driving the Tezos protocol development. So I've had a very, very lucky ride the last 2 years, and I'm very excited to be here. I am a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, so I'm just going to call that one out. This is my first space that I've had the privilege of joining. So just bear with me as I get my feet wet. So before we get into all the introductions, I want to briefly explain what this event is. So what is the Tezos Town Hall? I want to give you guys a good overview of why we're here and what we're doing this for. We know there are tons of live events across the spaces happening all around the community, but we haven't really seen a big stage event hosted on the Tezos handle. There's lots of really exciting things that are coming out of the ecosystem, and we haven't really seen one event hosted where we actually cover off everything across the ecosystem. So that's sort of the goal of this. It's meant to be a regular event where guests from all around the community come together and speak about what they're working on, what they're excited about, essentially tying the community closer with all of the cross verticals of the Tezos ecosystem. So for the first time, we're actually starting off with the bigger entities in the ecosystem. So you get a chance to hear from Nomadic Labs, from Trilitech, from TzApac, from Tezos Commons. So this is going to be a really exciting first big kickoff. The agenda for today will be to really hand over the mic to the Tezos co-founder, Arthur Breitman. We'll talk about a few exciting things, and then we'll give the stage to each entity to go one by one, share some really cool updates, but also talk about some of the cool stuff that we've been working on over the last year. Now that that's out of the way, I would like to make sure everyone has an opportunity to make some introductions, but also want to sense check, because it's a logistical nightmare, that everyone's mics are working. So first, can we have Arthur, if you want to come up and just introduce yourself and give us a quick mic check?
Mic check? Yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes, perfect. Okay.
Very good.
Yann, if you want to do the same.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. All right, let's go.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Excellent.
All right, David, do you want to do the same?
Hello, everybody.
Fabulous, loud and clear. Robin, do you want to give a little mic check?
Check.
Okay, fabulous. You're a little bit muted, so maybe if you can come closer to the mic. Fabulous. And then we have Johann.
Hello.
Fabulous. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Looks like everything's working. So there's a lot of exciting stuff. We have about an hour, so I want to make sure we really kick that off. So our first speaker today will be Arthur. Arthur, how you doing? How was consensus?
Thanks. I'm all right. Consensus was pretty good. Like really, I like the organization of the event. Beautiful space, and interesting topics. So yeah. Brief. I think most people know who I am. So just as a brief introduction, I'm a co-founder of Tezos, and I was an early architect of the protocol. And yeah, I'm here to talk about a few topics, but really also to mostly let people in our ecosystem talk about different things that they've been working on. But so just on a couple of points, there's a lot of things that's been happening lately. The Paris activation, of course, is happening tonight. It's a big upgrade. There's a huge change in the proof of stake system. So it's really changing the economics of Tezos. I don't think we've ever had as big of a change. So that's exciting. A little frightening, but also very exciting. There's also Etherlink, which hasn't launched, but is already available in beta on mainnet. And what I find exciting about it is that we've had a lot of core development work over the years that just adds up and adds up and adds up and doesn't necessarily turn into a product, because it's just, you need one piece and then you need another piece. And finally, it's coalesced into a product. And so we're seeing the DAO, of course, being introduced as well in Paris. And the DAO is something that gives us even more throughput through rollups. We've had rollups since Mumbai, but no actual rollup. And so this is an actual rollup that responds to an actual business need and using it. So it's great to have that. So yeah, as many of you know, Etherlink is an EVM compatible rollup. It's a non-custodial rollup. I think rollups at the moment are starting to get and very deservingly so a bad rap, because all of them are essentially custodial, meaning there's someone who holds special keys to your coins. That's not the case with Etherlink. We did things right, and Etherlink is actually non-custodial. So we're seeing a lot of traction with Etherlink. We're seeing a lot of builders, lots of partners integrating it, and we've seen some fun labs to play around on a testnet, with more coming on the actual mainnet. It's still very, very small, but the number of wallets went from I think 200 to over 2,400 just on a test. That's just on a testnet over the past few months. There's a lot more to come, obviously, from Etherlink, and there are a few launch partners which haven't been announced, but that will come out of the woodwork. And yeah, if you haven't tried Etherlink, I would suggest play around with the testnets and follow the Etherlink handle on Twitter, and you can get some testnet Tez on the Faucet website that you can get from etherlink.com. On Paris, I've already touched upon that. So we have the data availability layer. That's a big deal. Many chains have built their own data availability layer, and there's been a little bit this narrative of chains will pay external chains for their data availability. I think it's potentially interesting, but primarily I see DAO as a way to scale Tezos, and I think that's what we're going to see on most chains, except we're pretty much ahead of what other people are doing. We actually have sampling. What that means is that the DAO scales with the number of bakers. The more bakers in the ecosystem, the more efficient the DAO will be. Usually that's not the case. Usually if you add validator nodes to your network, you get more decentralized, but you don't get more performance. With the DAO, the more validators we have, the more performance we get out of the DAO. So it's great to have that, and it's not really been done until the Tezos DAO. Adaptive issuance, again, a huge change in the economics of Tezos. I think it's going to be bumpy, because all of this is changing at once. Bumpy not in the sense of security being affected, but there will be some confusion, and bakers will have to communicate a lot with their users to talk to them about the benefits of staking as opposed to delegating. So it'll take a while to normalize, and I don't think we're going to reach 50% staked anytime soon. But I do think it's going to increase quite quickly as soon as it kicks in. And I think, if we want to reap all the benefits of adaptive issuance as a community, it's very important that we try to get 50% staked. And so that's why our communication is going to be so important. TezDev is coming. We already have a few hundred sign up for the TezDev conference in Brussels. So quick, get your tickets if you haven't gotten it yet. Now this year, HCC is not in Paris because of the Olympic Games. It's in Brussels. Just across basically from HCC, at the Royal Library on July 11th, we will have a gathering of builders, partners, and enthusiasts. And you can connect with the global Tezos community. You can learn from experts, and explore all the latest developments that we've had on the Tezos chain. And so, yes, please, if you haven't done so yet, register for the event. So, just to cover a little point in a retrospective. So, from 2023, we've had a few things increase. So the monthly active addresses on Tezos have increased by 35% since the end of 2023. The average monthly new address have increased by 50%. New funded wallets are also up 16%. Smart contract calls up 17%. And network activity overall a little less impressive, but still up by 8%. A lot of this has been driven by gaming. Active addresses for playing games on Tezos have increased by 500%. And a lot of that was from Coin Blast, which earlier this year was averaging about 7,000 unique addresses weekly. In terms of adoption, one project that we've talked about, it's on there's a blog post on spotlight.tezos.com if you want to read more about it, called UHT. Now, this is confusing because we used to call UHT the ultra high throughput, which is now called like Tezos 2, and there's been some naming changes around here, but this is a different UHT. This is a thing called Universal Health Token. It's a project from a large community in India, who is trying to improve preventative healthcare by incentivizing healthy behavior. So potentially a lot of active users coming out of this. Banks. So some of you have seen, of course, that Banks is kicking a bit to higher gear, and the Tezos Foundation partnered with Banks early on. Recently we've announced that Banks would be releasing a test-compatible debit card. So like other crypto debit cards, the way it works is that you can use it for transaction in the everyday world, and behind the scene they do a transaction on chain using a smart contract. So this is exciting, and there's more news coming up. Finally, on the art side, we've seen FXH launch Spellbound, which is a voice-to-image generator that allows users to create their own fashion pieces. Object.com introduced something that's quite neat. It's fee sharing for community curators, so to incentivize the curation of NFT on the platform. And they also launched object galleries to create personalized storefronts and gallery spaces. And finally, at the Musée d'Orsay, they presented Le Cours d'Orsay, which is a 1-month exhibition with gorgeous artwork, including Sigma Lumina. So visitors of the Musée d'Orsay can mint unique digital art on Tezos, and it's the first Web3 display that the Musée d'Orsay has had. So exciting stuff happening also in the art community. So that's a brief overall of what's been going on. But I'm happy to hand it over now to the next speaker.
Yeah, thank you so much, Arthur. That's amazing. We've had really quite a kickoff to this year. So much stuff is going on in gaming and the adoption space, and with all the ramp up for Etherlink and Paris protocol upgrade. I mean, this has been such an exciting, half of the year. I can't wait to see what we have for the future. So thank you for that. It's a great overview. Next up, we have from Nomadic Labs, Yann. Yann, how are you doing?
I'm great. I hope you're great too, Katie.
Yeah, I'm super keen. I'm super keen to hear about what's all going on at Nomadic Labs side. Can you start by giving us an introduction of what Nomadic Labs does? Obviously, I think everyone, hopefully on this Tezos Town Hall knows, but it'd be great to get a little overview of Nomadic Labs and also what some of the exciting stuff you guys are doing.
Yes, with great pleasure. It's always nice to recall what we're doing. So at Nomadic, we are mostly focusing on core engineering. We are an R&D center for the Tezos ecosystem. We are based in Paris. So with our team of something like 40 engineers, we have been working on the Tezos protocol from the beginning, and we are collaborating with a lot of other companies like Trilitech, Foundry, to move Tezos tech forward continuously. At Nomadic, we also support businesses and public organizations in France, Benelux, and now Germany through their adoption and of Tezos. So that's in short what we do at Nomadic. And if you want, I can enter into more concrete details about what we have been doing in 2024. If you get
Yeah, Yann, I just have to ask, how's the team faring for the Olympics this summer?
For the
for the Summer Olympics, are you guys gearing up for that?
To be honest, we are. Our main question is, will we be able to enter our offices? There will be a lot of people in Paris during the Olympic Games, and of course we are interested by the event in itself. But it will be a lot of activities in Paris, a lot of things, and security, of course. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you guys have had, I mean, it's going to be a busy rest of the year, but I'm keen to hear what are some of the big achievements you've had so far in 2024.
yeah. So I think, yeah, a big part of these achievements can be described by what will happen this night, actually, during the Paris activation. Yesterday, I told to my 5 years old that it would be a very long day. I will have to stay awake during the night to see the protocol activation. And he asked me, what is that exactly? And I tried to explain, well, we've been trying to grow the code base to make it do better things, more things, etc. And we already had several upgrades happening, but this one, well, it's a big one. And he told me, actually, is that exactly like when a Pokemon is is evolving? And I said, yes, kind of, indeed. What we will be seeing today actually would be really a very, very deep change in our Tezos protocol. So yes, it's as if we had a brand new and completely different chain in front of us. So more concretely, yeah, the point is that we'll have really a structural change that will happen with the activation of the DAL, just like Arthur mentioned before. It's really important because it's the last piece that will turn Tezos, that was, let's say, something like 14 months ago, a very good second generation blockchain, into something that is really a scalable blockchain. So with smart rollups that were activated in Mumbai and now the DAL in Paris, we do have everything in place to be prepared for scaling. So the ability to have a very, very large throughput. And for end users and builders, that's super important because it means that the capacity of the chain is really future proof. So in practice, this means that they will have really predictable cost because we won't be in probably in the future in a situation where congestion can happen. So the fee will stay predictable and under control. So that's super important for users, and that's really the outcome of a lot of work by the engineers. But that's not all. Actually, in Paris, we have also two other very deep changes. So, as also mentioned by Arthur, we have this change in the crypto economic, the fact that we're moving to this significant change in the way we issue the tokens, or the rewards of the protocol are actually adapted to exactly what is needed for the security, so that we won't see, for instance, value dilution for our assets. So it's also super important for users because it means that they will now have the possibility to stake, so to use their own tokens to secure the chain. And if we all play this game, we'll see that a significant reduction of value dilution. So it's very good for. It may be a bit bumpy indeed at the beginning because people will have to learn how all this works. But in the end, it will probably be a very, very strong benefit for our chain. Finally, in terms of usability, we'll have something that will change. So typically in Paris, we will move the block time to 10 seconds from 15 seconds. So it means a better user experience, faster finality, typically for existing DApp running on Tezos Layer 1. But that's not all in terms of usability. As you all know, we have Etherlink now that is an EVM compatible DApp runtime with a state-of-the-art usability, hundreds of milliseconds latency, transaction cost so low that they appear as zero on MetaMask. and sequencers that respect the principle of decentralization, because the community governs it. So that's a lot of things happening and achieved in 2024. So I really want to thank all developers that have been working so hard to make this happen. Well, Tezos, as you know, is and has always been actually the fruit of collaboration of many companies. Paris and Etherlink are actually the result of work from Trilitech, Nomadic, Functory, PK Labs, and other company like Inference that are testing and auditing our code. So yeah, it's a lot. And just to finish with the achievements very quickly, on the Nomadic side, we do have this glorious team of business developers that knock at doors of businesses to showcase our tech. So we've seen a new minted stamp by La Poste and also a consolidation of stable. So you may know it as this fantasy game that where you can have horses running for you. And we are continuing to set up new collaborations, organizing hackathon in many places. And as I've said before, we have now an office in Germany to continue the Tezos adoption. So it was a bit longer maybe, but that's a lot of achievements in 2024.
You guys have been very, very busy. Lots of exciting stuff happening over in Paris office. So the Nomadic Labs team working diligently with the cross-entity teams and other teams within the ecosystem, which is fantastic to see what we're bringing to life together. Just curious around some of the call to actions. If you have anyone on this call that you really want to drive towards, whether it be Etherlink, is there anything you want to shout out for this group?
Actually, maybe if I need to choose one, I will ask bakers for their help. We need their support to build the best DAL network as possible. So as we said before, DAL will be activated in Paris. That's only the beginning of the story, because it means that now we have on mainnet the possibility to build a very cool DAL network, but it will mean progressively updating infrastructure to run DAL nodes, to get feedback about what can be improved to get the best quality of service as possible. So there's a lot of things. So maybe the actions that would be great is for bakers to start considering moving to DAL node and just getting in touch with us to help us support them in this new adventure.
Fantastic, Yann. Thank you so much for the vibrant overview. I think if there anything else you want to say, I'm going to move on to David from TzApac. Is that all right?
Oh, yes, that's fine. Thanks.
Hi, David. How you doing? How are things in Singapore?
Hello, Katie. Yeah, I think everything's going pretty well over here. So it's the start of like the peak season in Singapore, in Asia.
How fun. So I know you guys are working on a lot of stuff. 2024 has been quite busy for you. Do you want to give us a little bit overview what your team has been working on this last 5 months?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll do a very brief introduction for TzApac first. Since I do believe that I believe that most of the people here would know about TzApac. But basically we are an adoption entity for the Tezos ecosystem, and we are based in Asia. And yeah, a lot of things that we do at TzApac is really aligned to a lot of the wider initiative that the ecosystem looks at. So like in 2022, we are doing a lot of like art activation. We did we helped out with like Art Basel Hong Kong. We brought Akaswap to Art Moment Jakarta. We have done Singapore Art Week, and collaborated with multiple like Asian artists and also artists that sort of wants to come into the Asian market. So we are like, that party. Yeah, and in 2023, there was a very big push towards institution collaboration, and that's not just on Tezos, but like throughout the entire blockchain ecosystem. So we managed to get like one of the projects building in Indonesia, TzApac, to get a collaboration with Ultramilk, which is one of the largest dairy companies in Indonesia, as well as managed to get Akaswap, which is a marketplace building on Tezos, to push out their AI generative tool in the Art Science Museum in Singapore. So that's the museum that's attached to the Marina Bay Sands. And yeah, so this year our focus is that there is looking to be a very big need to have more projects building on Tezos. And like what you heard from Arthur, Yann, Etherlink is also launching. So one of our very big focus is to create like this environment that builders thrive. And they can sort of like build. They can focus on building. They know they have all that they require to succeed. Building on either Etherlink or Tezos. So that's where one of our programs, which is called Fortify Labs, that comes in. Yeah, and Fortify Labs, very briefly as well, it's a startup studio program. We picked 7 startups that already have an MVP. They could be building on Tezos, they could be outside of Tezos, and we sort of try to help them bring them to market. And the particular problem statement that we are trying to answer is that that these startups, they actually need a lot of support. They might be inexperienced in some areas. For instance, they need more experience actually pitching to VCs. They need more experience in terms of figuring out a go-to-market strategy, or they just couldn't sort of like gain traction. So this is where our team comes in, where we have like marketers, we have like partnership people, we have like BD adoption, and we sort of like use our networks in terms of like in terms of like we can actually help them bridge VC introductions, help them with mentorship, introduce them to like tokenomics expert, legal experts, and sort of like get them the best environment to succeed.
That's incredible, David. It sounds like when did Fortify Labs kick off again? Was it the beginning of this year?
We started application in mid-January this year, and we closed applications in March. So it's actually a pretty lengthy program because like if you look at other incubators, accelerators, usually it's like 1 month, 3 months long. So Fortify Labs, that's why we term it startup studio, because it is we spend 3 months to actually sort of like help them in terms of cleaning up their strategy, and then the next 3 months we would help them bring them to market. So it's 6 to 7 months long. It's a very long commitment.
That's incredible. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of Fortify Labs, and as you guys start to market when they're building and when they've built successfully. What about I know you guys do a lot of stuff within the marketing space. Anything on the radar there that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So we so I think one of the biggest problem statement that we're trying to solve, which I mentioned earlier, is like how does these projects actually sort of like go to market, right? So we would assist them in terms of like we have a team that will help them in terms of cleaning up their branding, helping them with like figure out what's the target audience. At the same time, we realize that if we just have builders that are just building products, but nobody actually even give these products a chance. That's one of the very big problems that we sort of like identified, and that's why we launched this initiative. It's called TzApac, and Apex is APEX, so it's like the top of the peak is essentially. So basically, it's a community rewards program that we really see as a way to sort of reward new and current members of the Tezos ecosystem, while empowering projects that are building on Tezos. And that's the key philosophy, to sort of like just create this environment where if there's someone building a project, how do we get the ecosystem to try out this project and create this environment? So that's something that we are very focused on. And also as part of like these community members helping these startups in their journey, we also try to give rewards to them, like in terms of like limited edition collaborative t-shirts. So we got these t-shirts that we got artists on Tezos. We commissioned artists on Tezos to come up with these t-shirts, and these are very like limited edition rewards. And also other global rewards that to sort of reward these community members for their efforts. So that's something that we're doing. Um, Another initiative that we're doing is that we are running another campaign. It's called the Trailblazers. So basically this goes hand in hand with creating this builder and environment, right? So Trailblazers, essentially it's for us, it's actually selecting a voluntary group of like Tezos ecosystem enthusiasts, ambassadors of sorts. They're super and get them to sort of um um to sort of look at these 7 projects that's on 45 labs, get them enthusiastic about it, get them to be instead of us talking about them, these 7 projects, why can't we have like these trailblazers talking about them instead? And that would actually sort of again create this environment where it feels a lot more organic. And of course, even this chat, I saw a few trailblazers over here. There's like Raspberry Pi, there's Toza, there's Peter Nirvana. They're in this town hall as well. So just creating this environment where the seven projects which we really want them to succeed, have the best chance.
I love hearing about the Trailblazers, and yes, so we absolutely do have some in this town hall today. If you were to sum up some of the things, call to actions, something that you would want everyone to take away from this town hall, what's the one thing you would direct them to, David?
I think it would be really on our 7 projects. So we are almost at the end of our build phase. A couple of the projects are ready to go live. So for instance, if you are looking at Akaswap, they have been a marketplace on the Tezos blockchain for the last 3 years. They have gained relatively good B2B success. They have been in Art Science Museum in Singapore, prominent art fairs in Taiwan and Indonesia. Recently, they've even been commissioned to do a minting experience for the Taiwanese presidential inauguration. So they have achieved a lot of B2B success, but where they were looking for help is in terms of how do they actually go for the sort of go directly to community. How do they actually target that? So they are working hard on Aka Games, which is a marketplace specifically for the gaming audience. They have a new beta landing page that's fresh off oven. Another project is of course one of the most hyped out one currently by the VCs is Questflow. So they are building a text to workflow tool and AI automation workplace. So pretty much if you imagine you can go onto Questflow and say, hey Questflow, can you pull out the data from this town hall of how many attendees came to this town hall, how long did they last, how long did they stay here for, and push it into Slack. So basically it allows this kind of text to workflow tool. They have already launched their services on Product Hunt, and they have already reached number 4. They are trying to figure out, okay, how do they use the Tezos blockchain and the black as a platform to decentralize and sort of crowdsource these worker models. How do they use it as a tool to get more people to contribute AI models onto their platform? So that's what we're helping them with. So there are a lot of very interesting projects over there. I believe one of my colleagues, Johann, he has already shared a link to the 7 projects. So definitely check that out. I think that's our key thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I've seen a lot of links being posted in this thread. So definitely take a look at that. See all the 7 projects. Also learn about the new TzApacs. I think that's really exciting stuff coming out of TzApac. We're going to move on to Trilitech, if that's all right. So it's time, Robin, if you want to come to the stage, give us a little bit of overview, introduction of yourself, and maybe a little overview of Trilitech before we jump right into it.
Yeah, of course. Can you hear me better now? Is it louder?
Yeah, you sound better now.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Katie. So I'm Robin. I'm the CEO here at Trilitech. Like Katie, I get involved pretty much across the board in the stuff we do. I also actually helped set things up here in London about 3 years ago now, so been going for almost 3 years. So Trilitech really covers quite a few areas. So on the technical side, we have a few teams. So a few teams helping primarily Nomadic labs on the core engineering side, but we also have teams focusing on DevX and UX and also some dApps that we build in-house here at Trilitech. Then on the less technical side, we also cover marketing and adoption, and we kind of split our adoption efforts generally into 3 key verticals that we see as important for adoption as of now. Those are, of course, DeFi and gaming and arts and culture. Maybe starting on the latter, just to give you a sense of the stuff we've been doing just so far this year. It feels like a lot already, but maybe starting with DeFi. So, like our colleagues in Singapore, we also actually run a accelerator program, but this one very much focused on DeFi. So actually with the guys at TzApac's help, we ran the DCA, as we call it. And we already have a few candidates coming out of the program, which we're super excited about. Just to name a few, I would say Plend, which is a really solid lending protocol, and Revo gives easy access intro to DeFi, and Hanji, which is SpotX, but also building some other features as well. So yeah, super excited about those, and I encourage you all to tune into DevStev, of course, 11th of July. Shout out yet again here, and we'll have some sessions on this as well to talk about this more. I think it's also easy to just talk about the end use cases, but really to enable some of these things, we've had to do a lot of groundwork. So to really bolster the infrastructure that we have on the network, and obviously as some of these things are, well, these things in particular launching an Etherlink as opposed to the layer 1, it's kind of a fresh set of infrastructure partners that had to be onboarded with some really well-known names, I guess, from likes of Pipe or Layer 0, Block Scout, or IDOS, who we believe will help bring permission DeFi on Tezos to the next level. So that's some of the stuff we've been busy with on DeFi. Gaming, I think Arthur already mentioned, there's been a massive surge in activity in gaming on Tezos. Much to the help of Coinblast, also the team behind that is launching a few more games as well. So we're really excited to see what they can amp up the figures to. But yeah, peaking out at 36,000 MAUs, they actually the first Tezos game, I believe, to go into the top 50 games on that radar. So that's pretty cool. But it's not just that. There's many other games as well. Cricket Stars, for example, peaking out at 8,000 MAUs, also going strong. But also to help enable this, and also the pretty dense launch pipeline we have coming up, is the Tezos Unity SDK, which the team here is responsible for pushing to the forefront, and see onboarding games easily to Tezos. And then thirdly, art and culture. So I actually have a pretty familiar, I guess, to the OG Tezos art community, but new here at Trilitech, joining as head of art, a lady called Alexandra. So she'll be very active in the community. I hope you guys will like dealing with her. And I think some great examples of the work that's been done recently. I think Arthur briefly mentioned as well, but I think the collaboration we have with the Monsieur d'Orsay where we really together with already artists and so on has really been able to marry those institutional partnerships with the Tezos art community and this particular thing of course culminating with a pretty epic DJ set by Agoria. But I think more community outreach and engagement has been very much the focus for this team lately, and also really activating the community. I think another good example would be the Stellar event that we helped the community run in New York back in April. Is a good example of this as well. That's some examples from art and culture. I mentioned also products. So we actually build a few products here in-house at Trilitech as well. So one example of that is Canvas, which is mainly a white label solution for NFT commerce. And this has done a few things for us, but one maybe that you will most commonly know it for is the powering the partnership we have with Manchester United. If you missed that, which I can't really see how you would have missed it, but if you did, tune into object.com. You can find I think here in the chat you can find a link to the collections from Manchester United there on object.com. Another product which the team has been working tirelessly on is Umami, which is our reference wallet product here. Tezos, but built out of the Trilitech teams, and they've actually just about released a new version of the desktop version of Umami, which brings a host of features and revamped UX and so on, but also a social sign-on, which is a good new feature. Moving on to some other stuff. So DevX, extremely important as well, and there's a lot we can talk about there. But I think maybe the one thing I'd bring to the forefront is a project we call Justice, which essentially is a JavaScript runtime powered by Tezos Smart Optimistic Rollup technology. So basically a little bit like another Etherlink, but JavaScript centric. This will enable a lot of things for us, we believe, and has just been released on GhostNet. So hoping to get some wider testing going there, and also feedback from the community, because effectively this is built for people to build stuff on it.
Robin, I hear through the grapevine that we might see a demo at TezDev.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I keep on doing shout outs here for TezDev, but here again, we're going to be running a Justice demo. So I encourage you all to tune into that. If you can't attend in person, of course, there will be other coverage as well, but it's really worth seeing in person if you can.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that, definitely.
Cool. So, that was a quick summary of the stuff we've been up to so far this year. Maybe to highlight something that we're doing at the moment, maybe even today. Well, actually even today, given it's Tuesday. So actually another example of how we're trying to really work closely with the Tezos art community. So Tezos Tuesdays is something that's been a long-standing tradition on Tezos. We're now really taking to ourselves to amplify that and really to work closely with the community to use those Tezos Tuesdays to amplify some new artists every week. So another call to action there would really be to make sure you follow the Tezos handle and engage in these posts, so you can get the chance to see what's coming through the Tezos Tuesdays.
Robin, it sounds so busy. I know firsthand, being here at Trilitech, the team is working incredibly hard across the patch. So super busy start to the year. Is there any other call outs that you want to make or direct people to before we move on to Tezos Commons?
Yeah, maybe just a quick snapshot of some exciting things coming up. So, obviously call out for Etherlink, go and check it out. Main launch is happening soon. Main is of course already up. Gaming pipeline, call to action to check out some super cool projects. I would say MetaPals, Battle Rise, Star Symphony, Sugar Gaming, some examples. I would also later in the summer, actually, super excited about the next step of our collaboration with Manchester United. So we're going to have a new initiative launching later in the summer in time for the new season. So that's another one to check out. But maybe first and foremost, call to action would be TestDev again. So I've said it, I think 3 or 4 times now, but a strong call out to get your tickets booked for TestDev.
Fantastic. I also know there's the digital art mile that's coming up in June where Object and FX Hash will present some beautifully curated booths in Basel. So that's also coming up. So very exciting. It's a busy time at the moment across the ecosystem. Looking forward to all the events and seeing the community. Thank you so much for giving the update. I think that's pretty comprehensive. We're going to move on to Johann from Tezos Commons. You want to come on up and we'll get a little bit overview of Tezos Commons, maybe give a little introduction of yourself.
Okay, yeah. I'm Johann from Tezos Commons. People may know us from Twitter and our social activities. So we do Twitter spaces, we publish articles, we have a community rewards program. I think you can even find that in the pinned tweets here in this space. We organize meetups. We are very focused on promoting Tezos and building the Tezos community. And we also do some development things, which is where I come in. So in terms of like development infrastructure, we run RPC nodes, we run our PFS nodes, we help Kukai sometimes with some development things. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I would actually much rather talk about something specific that I've been working on recently that is more user facing, which is dynamic metadata. So what is metadata and why should it be dynamic? Basically, when you own an NFT on Tezos, the data that is stored on-chain is very minimal. The smart contract stores only the information about who owns which token, who can transfer it, and so on. It also includes a link to the metadata of the token that is typically stored off-chain and contains the detailed information about the token, such as images or videos or other assets, descriptions, attributes. Basically, metadata is what turns an on-chain data entry into something that looks nice in your wallet, and it is what you can see in a marketplace when you look at an NFT. Now, on Tezos, we have a really big artist community that have minted a lot of NFTs already, and these generally do not change once they are minted. And this is fine for art NFTs. This is the expected thing for art NFTs, but in other use cases, we would like to change attributes once they are minted. One such example is the typical example here is gaming. So imagine you have a game and you have a playable character in that game that can be treated as an NFT or an object or wherever. And when something happens in the game, then you want that change to be reflected everybody else. So your character gets shot and the health decreases, then that is information that a buyer might need on a marketplace. So this is the dynamic part that I've been working on. Without going into like too much technical details and stuff, the general vision of dynamic metadata is this. We want your Tezos wallet to be the place for all your digital items and collectibles, for art NFTs, for in-game items, for real-world assets, for everything. And I want you to be able to just open up your wallet and see up-to-date, real-time information about all of these things that you care about. And dynamic metadata is how we communicate that information from the source to the user. And it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be, I think, a really important part of the overall user experience on Tezos. And yeah.
I was just going to say that's incredible. So you guys have been working on it behind the scenes. I know you do so much stuff for the ecosystem and for the community. When are we expecting to see this metadata dynamic NFT?
Oh, very, very soon, actually. I'm currently working with Kukai on integrating this in their wallet. And we also have a little demo app already, where you can try that. We are going to announce this very, very soon. So if you want to stay up to date on this, just, follow Tezos comments here on Twitter and keep an eye out for this.
I love it. You guys do so much for the community rewards program as well. I know that I see it's celebrated every year or every month. Sorry. Is there anything that you want to call out? Any CTA for people to come and engage? Obviously, beyond playing around with demos in the future. Is there anything else that you want to let this audience know?
Yeah, definitely have a look at the community rewards program. You can nominate people here on Twitter who you think deserve some reward. Also, Tezos Commons is also part of the ecosystem DAO, and I think a lot more people should be engaging with that. So also have a look at the ecosystem DAO. And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that really great overview of what you guys are working on the last few months and what to expect in the future. I think that's it for all of us today. So I just want to, thank you everyone for giving your comprehensive updates. It's amazing to hear what's going on across the ecosystem. I think, from the rewards program to launching new products to engaging with the community on really cool events that are upcoming. Shout out to TezDev one more time. Just wanted to, thank everyone for joining in. We're running out of time, so I'm going to wrap this up. But I wanted to, not only thank those that have come to speak and give their overview of what the incredible work they're doing, but I also want to thank the community that's joined in today and listened and we are really receptive to feedback and how we can maybe improve upon these events in the future. We would love to hear from you. We want to make sure that this is ever evolving and we're iterating on this type of an event. So we're very excited to hear your feedback. So if you do have any suggestions or recommendations, or you just want to voice your opinion, feel free to feedback to any of the community managers in the space. David Ryan obviously has very much helped to pull this together. So he is very, very excited to hear your feedback. And I just want to thank everyone so much for giving us some of your time today, whether it's your day, night, or morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.